Well, good morning, guys. And this week it is the trifecta of money, the trifecta that helps you create your wealth and financial independence. Welcome to an intentional business life. Hi guys, as I said, we're talking this week about the trifecta of money and how to build an intentional business life. It's how to get your wealth and your financial independence. That's why we run businesses for in the first place. Okay, so I have been asked, how do you build your money so quickly? Oh, by the way, we're down in a beautiful spot. This is the East Perth. It's absolutely stunning down here. Absolutely love it this morning. And it really goes on three things. I'm going to basically outline them for you, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail just while we just have a walk around this beautiful spot. So the trifecta. So what it really says, I'm going to give the main brackets, and I'm actually going to break them down, as I said, guys. So stick around, and I'm going to give you something at the end that is really ties it all together and makes the magic happen. Okay, so the first thing is we have to look at something that's going to be in high demand. Okay, that's the first part of a trifecta. No use, setting up a gardening business and, coming down here, for instance, look, it's just all apartment blocks. You wouldn't do very well. You'd really want to set up a gardening business in suburbia where people have got lots of gardeners. That's what you'd want to be doing. It's same with everything. So make sure that when you're setting up your business, first of all, you're in the correct area for it, and it is something that is going to be in high demand. And I'm going to talk about a couple of tactics you can do for high demand in a little while. One is the rapid money, what I call the fast money, and then more is the long-term blue chip money. That's what we're going to talk about with that. Now, the next part of the trifecta is what we call, being compelling, articulating your benefit to your customer. So what do I mean by this? I mean be able to have your business focused in a way that talks about the number one benefit to your client or to your customer. And the number one benefit is the result it's going to give them. And you must be able to articulate this in a way that makes it compelling. So we're going to talk about that as well in a minute. I'm going to break that down for you as well, so you get a better understanding of how you could do that today, and maybe put a bit of a different spin on it as well. Because I think some people, when they think this, they think very narrow, and it limits your earning capacity. So we're going to break that apart in a minute and talk about it in a bit more depth. The next part is having important relationships. Now, this is critical. A lot of people hear me say quite often, that networking is the price that you pay for success. And that's what it's really all about. So networking is really, really important. And what we're talking about here is those important relationships, not just with customers, but with suppliers, with with staff, and with your mentors, and with your general business people in your community. Interesting thing here, I was talking to a business associate of mine, Mr. John Hughes. He's quite famous here in Western Australia. And he was saying the same thing. He said, look, when it comes to business, you have family and you have business associates. You don't have friends in business. Business are business associates, or they're going to be your family members. And he's saying this because he said those important relationships in business are roles that people play. Who is your mentor? Who are you surrounding with? Because that is going to be the sum of your wealth, the people you actually surround yourself with. And he said, as you grow, some of those people will grow with you, and some won't. Some will actually not grow with you, and you replace them. So we'll just make the roles that you want the people to play. I'm just going to turn around because it's a bit crowded down there. So when you're looking at important relationships, we're not really talking about the person, even though sometimes it can be, but really talking about the role, the mentor you want. That's what tennis coaches, they have a coach. They still want a coach, but it's not necessarily the same coach all the time. You're going to join networking groups, but as you grow, those networking groups that you mix with will change as well. So it's the roles for the important relationships, roles that you want to be able to fill, not so much the actual individual, because they can change. That's why it's not a friendship thing, it's a business association thing. So that's a bit of a snapshot of the trifecta. Now, let's break it down, as I said. Let's talk about high demand. This is an interesting one. So high demand is actually two things. One is what we call trends, and two is what we call blue chip or long term. So when you're very first starting off, and this is what I talk to a lot of people about, is what I call trends. This is the fast money. This is a bit like being a day trader and then someone who buys blue chip shares for the long term. Day traders are making their money, they're turning things over every 2 or 3 days, sometimes faster than that. And then the blue chip is what they're buying and holding that long term, and they're there for their future wealth. They know that that's going to be a long-term growth, a long-term thing. So this is where I think a lot of business people miss out. They don't split the business into a trend and into their blue chip. So let's have a look at trends for a moment. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. And this is where business people can really accelerate their wealth and get that financial stability in very, very quickly. So we are now September 2024 when I'm filming this. A little while ago, there was an assassination attempt on the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. And I'm sure quite a few of you would have seen that or remember that. But there was an instant that the Donald, as he likes to be called, stood up after being shot at. I think he got his ear clipped by the bullet, and the Secret Service around him, but he stood up and he punched the air with his fist. Right? And it became a real symbol, a really emotional drive for his supporters in the US and around the world. So a couple of friends of mine, what they did, they saw that, instantly printed t-shirts with that photograph on of the Donald punching the air when he got up with his right hand, and sold them. Now they were selling them for $25. I think the t-shirts cost like $5 on one of these markets to get done. And they sold them for $25. So they're basically making $20 a t-shirt. They did this, and incredibly, in 2 or 3 days, made $100,000. Not a problem whatsoever. So trends you can't predict, trends you're just watching what is going to have a huge emotional impact on what could just be trending very, very quickly. Sometimes it's a 2 or 3 day thing. That's what the t-shirts were. Some people put them on coffee mugs, and when you put the hot water in, Donald appeared punching the air. It was all exciting, big emotional driver. Another trend that went on a little while ago was the fidgets, and they were for the ADHD kids, but they just went off. This trend hit. Now, if you were smart, you would simply do a quick landing page, buy the stock, and you do drop shipping on this, by the way, and there's so many t-shirts you do drop shipping. There's plenty of print on demand services you can get for this. It's basically building those websites or building a single landing page, running the ads, hitting your email database, spreading the word on social media. And the fidgets, I think they probably lasted 2 or 3 months. But the guys who made all the money probably only spent a week or two selling the bulk of them, and then they were out. Again, you do that, you can make 100, 150 grand just in a weekend, Takes you a few days to set them up, get them out there, and that's what we call trends. So when I talk to business owners and do the consulting, we always include that as part of the business structure. It's not the long-term money, it's the fast money. And if you do that 5 or 6 times a year, you can basically walk away with $500,000, $1 million in your first year. So we're not talking about 100 million or 500 million, not talking silly money, but it's a good start. It's a good solid start for what you want. I'm just going to turn around and walk back the other way. It's absolutely stunning down here. I'm just going to give you a view of this while I'm talking about trends. Imagine living down here. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so that's trends. That is very, very important to make fast money when you're in business. The other thing is, and I call blue chip. So this is your long-term stuff. I've got the sun behind me, so I may be in shadow, guys, sorry. But hey, who would not want to be down here? What can I say? So blue chip is long-term stuff. So blue chip is the business that you're in. And there is a thing about it, though, in that blue chip stuff, because it's long-term, you're trying to predict the future. So in actual fact, you could say it's more high risk than the trend stuff. It's, I'm just having a look at the window cleaner go. Look at the size of his pole. I don't even can see that, guys. He's over there in the orange shirt and he's reaching all the way up there. That's amazing. I've never seen... I suppose you've got to clean them somehow. So that's the long-term stuff. But as I said, it could be a little bit more high risk because you're really trying to predict the future and you really don't know. So give you an example, myself and a few business associates, we're setting up vertical farming to grow food. Now we're saying, because it's a long-term burn, that's what we call blue chip. What we're saying is that we believe in the future there's going to be a higher demand for fresh food. Your tomatoes, your capsicum, your peppers, your chilies, your lettuces. We believe that demand for fresh food, fresh produce is going to grow. And it's going to grow that people will be happy to pay a premium price for a premium product in that food area. I don't know if that's true. I believe in my heart that it's going to be true, and there's going to be some people watching this and going, yeah, I agree with you too. But there are going to be other people saying, oh, I don't know whether growing hydroponically in vertical farming, it's a bit more expensive, the goods are more expensive, will there be a market? So it's a punt, yeah? To me, it's a really good punt, but this is what we call blue chip, so it's long term. So they're your two that you have to look at. And it really is that. Now, the second is articulating your benefit, your number one benefit. And I can tell you that sometimes you have two. You have two different markets. One may be a consumer market and another could actually be why people should work for you. But what I find here is that a lot of people say, how can I do a better bookkeeping service? How can I have a better law firm? How can I don't know, have a better consulting firm? I don't ask those questions because I think they're very restrictive. All thing you're trying to do is build a better or bigger bookkeeping business or build a bigger law firm or build whatever. What you really want to do that can really open up, we're talking about scaling now, is say, who would benefit from what I can do and why? That question opens it right up. So to give you an example, Michelle, I won't say her surname, but she is a painter and she wanted to teach people how to paint. But when I changed the question, because she's a professional artist, I said, but who would want to know what you did and why? She goes, I guess there's a lot of artists out there that actually like to be professional artists like I am. I said, ha. She said, but like a lot of struggling artists, they probably don't have the money. Okay, but if they did, how much money would they have and how many are there in this market? And she discovered there's a market there for professional people who want to be professional artists, make a living out of art. There's millions of them. And she's already doing it, so she can teach it. And so she started, and she wasn't full-time herself, but she was halfway there. So she just set her Patreon channel up, 6,500 people, give her $5 a month. That's $30,000 a month there. And she does other programs on top. And she's basically on about $120,000 a month now because she changed the thinking. Now, we were talking to a lovely lady. She's a confidant. And I was having a chat with her and she said, how can I grow my business because I am the business? And I said, well, that's a really bad phrasing. I think that's a lie. And I tend to use those words. You're not the business. You are you. You might be in the business, but if you talk to a lawyer, right, a lawyer will tell you that a trust is its own entity, a business is its own entity, and you're your own entity. So you're actually in the business. So the business is not you. You work for the business, or you work in the business, or you work on the business, but the business is not you. The business is being a personal confidant. So business people and people going through struggles can come and have private chats with you with no, judgments made on them whatsoever. So I said, okay, who would benefit from what you do and why? She started talking about clients. I said, yeah, but who else? She goes, well, I suppose there's lots of people like me, elderly lady, she's more mature, who have a lot of experience, who could be confident just like me. Aha. So why don't we set up, your business is a confidential business. It's the confident, your personal confident. You could take that worldwide. You are, and actually I call it mirroring. We just take what you look like. When we do the marketing for people to take the spot and do what you do, we just look for yous around the world, replicas of yous. There's millions of them. I'm not saying they're exactly you, but there's lots of middle-aged ladies or elderly ladies who's had the experience, who's had the consulting, who are great listeners. Women are really good because they don't tell people what to do. Us guys tend to go, you got a problem here, do this, and we make a list of things. Confidence don't do that. They're just listening to your situation and what you want to achieve, and no judgments. So you can have a personal confidence. That revolutionized her business. That means she's now got a worldwide business. She can put it online, physical presence, because 2 different business models there, and work through that. And that's not hard. That's not hard at all. That's just saying who can benefit from your business and why, and changing the language, and know that you are not the business. You work for your business, or you work in your business, or you work on it, but you are not your business. The business is something else. Your business is a product. Your business is a product. Okay? So how do you move forward from this? Because I know we're running out of time this week, and I did really want to talk to you. I probably spoke a little bit longer. I'm going to say this. You start as you intend to finish. So my conclusion here is, what I'd like you to do is design your perfect business. Design your ideal business how you want it to be. Then design your ideal life. This is an intentional business life, remember, intentional. So we know what our perfect business is going to be, and we know what our perfect life is going to be. And I'm going to say, when you've done that, you make a commitment to start as you intend to finish. That means when a decision comes up and you're going to do something, I ask you, if you had that perfect business, that perfect life, would you do it then? And if you wouldn't, you don't do it now. And if you would do it then you do it now. Guys, I know we've probably gone a little bit over this week, but I hope you got a lot out of it. I'll explore this in more depth as we go on now. I'm going to start really unpacking this in the next few weeks, because I really want everyone here to have an intentional business life. That's a business life that gets them the wealth and the financial freedom that you want and, well, you deserve. And it's not hard. Thanks for supporting us, and I'll see you next week.